Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. It's wet out here today. It's wet. It's coming sooner than we think, man. I think if math suits me right, this is the last Sunday that we're approaching without football. The last Sunday we got to go through. I want to talk about these rookies, these young players who are leaving their mark. Guys are leaving their mark in training camp right now. And let's think about a lot of the NFL teams of late that have won the Super Bowl. Let's think of the last 10 teams that won the Super Bowl. You got the Patriots, and they had that kid Sonny Michel. You got the Eagles, we had Corey Clement. Who was before us again? The Patriots. What young studs did they have to help them get it done? The point of the matter is this. If you're going to go all the way, you're going to need somebody young that's going to be able to play ahead of their time. Last time we won the Super Bowl, it was Corey Clement for us. You know what I mean? Somebody young got to be able to pick up the slack and carry the torch and get things done. At the end of the day, I think we drafted really well with the addition of Miles Sanders and Arcega-Whiteside. That's just two skill position guys I'm going to talk about. Now, we're not even going to talk about our first overall pick, who I believe is soaking up all the game in the world from Jason Peters. And I think he's going to be a stud when it's his time to take over the role at left tackle. But Miles Sanders, Arcega-Whiteside are ready to contribute now. They're ready to be players that we can say, well, we probably can't win it without the depth of those guys on the roster. They are that important to the plans moving forward. Arcega-Whiteside has made beautiful touchdown receptions this training camp already. Miles Sanders has impressed. Jordan Howard has impressed. Deshaun Jackson has impressed. These guys are all new additions to the Doug Peterson regime. Now, it's real important that these guys impress and these guys put their best foot forward. Now, training camp is real important. You can have a training camp like ours, or you can have a training camp like some of our other counterparts in the NFC East. One riddled with injury, one riddled with confusion. Now, injuries happen to everybody. It happens to everybody, but disarray and the panic button. Guys are there. Listen. We got our head on right. We're the most buttoned up team in the division. Practice is going well. These pieces are meshing together. We are primed to have a breakout season for multiple players. Somebody's going to have a breakout season. It could be anybody. Dallas Goedert could have a breakout season. Alshon Jeffrey could have his breakout year. Deshaun Jackson could have a breakout year. Miles Sanders could have a breakout year. Miles Sanders actually could. If Miles Sanders gets the reps and is on the field as much as I would like him to be, based upon what the coaching staff is saying and ranting and raving about his ability, I can say Miles Sanders could be a real strong candidate for Rookie of the Year. He could be a real strong candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Also, so can Arcega-Whiteside. Now, God forbid an injury happens or Arcega-Whiteside got a man in the slot. He could be a strong candidate as well because Arcega-Whiteside could play. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles have one really concerning thing that I think they have to do, which has been bothering me, man. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles need to choose an identity because we can be two different teams based upon the roster already. You see what I'm saying? So many people are ranting and raving about selective groups on the roster, but they forget one thing, that it got to be put together. The whole pie got to be decorated the same way. It got to mesh and it got to move as one unit. So you can rank us as having the number one offensive group Pro Football Focus. I don't disagree with that. I said we was up there probably top 2. You can rank us as having the most solid offensive group. You can rank us as having one of the most solid running back rooms right now too. You also can rank us as having one of the most solid offensive lines, most solid defensive lines. Basically, when you break down groups with the Philadelphia Eagles, they got us ranked as solid. Almost all across the board, with the exceptions of a few positions. Now, are we solid as a unit? What's our identity moving into the season? Now, we could be one or two teams, like I was saying. We could be that team that is top 3 in rushing. Of course, the running back room is good. Or we could be that team that's top 3 in passing. Or we could have a balance and not try to be top 3 at anything and just win games. Now, certain games call for certain game plans. You might run into a game where the running game is off. But you know that team ain't going to be able to stop the run and the pass. The head coaches and the offensive coordinators got the biggest job out of anybody on this team. I will not stress that enough. There is no reason why you can't go into A, B, or C. You got to simplify these things. There's no way that plan A, plan B, and plan C don't work. It needs to be a plan A, plan B, and plan C every week for every team we play. We going in against the Redskins. Now, this will be my plan A, plan B, and plan C against the Redskins if all else fell. One of these has to work. Plan A, I would love to establish the run against the Washington Redskins. I would love to establish the run. Now, the Washington Redskins ain't really no cakewalk, really. They got a really good front seven, but I would love to establish the run. Once you get them biting on the run, once you see them linebackers creeping down, trying to help out, and then you can start incorporating a little bit of plan B, moving into the second quarter, moving into the end of the first quarter. Play action. It got to be a plan A, plan B, and plan C for everything that's going on, man. It has to be. And plan A always got to start off with establishing the run. We don't want to get ourselves in positions like this happened to us so many times last year. We got into a funk, and we put the emphasis on trying to start fast. Putting pressure on ourselves, trying to start fast. You know what I mean? We lose a game or two, and now we think we got to start. We got to come out and just blow everybody up. That should be the goal if your game plan works. But every week your game need to be to start off smart. Why would we come off and drop back on a 1st and 10 and get sacked now as a 2nd and long? Why would we put ourselves in that position? Why do we shy away from the run? There's no excuse from shying away from the run this year. I know you got these shiny new toys on the outside, but running the ball will open the game plan up for everybody. For everybody. You know what I'm saying? Running the ball will open the game plan for everybody. Tom Brady isn't approaching this season. Now, Tom Brady is the GOAT, but he's not approaching this season like I'm about to have 5,000 passing yards. He's approaching this season like I'm going to make sure that we're in a position to win. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of big names, and it doesn't matter how many names you got on your roster as long as you're putting everybody in a position to win. I don't care if nobody on our team rushes for 100 yards all season. I don't care. I don't care if nobody on our team gets 100 receiving yards all season. I don't care in one game. I don't care. All I care about is a W at the end of the day. And that comes with establishing your identity. The Philadelphia Eagles need to, from day one, pick an identity and go with it. We don't want to be week 7 and we don't know who we are as a football team, because we obviously can run and pass the ball. But what are we looking to do? We're looking to impose our will? Yeah. Now with the talent on this roster, we could have a New Orleans Saints style of offense where the back's catching out of the backfield. And they could air it out deep, and they could run the ball. You got to be able to do everything. I think the playbook got to be really creative, man. The playbook has to be really creative, man, if we're going to do what we got to do. The play calling was kind of bland last year. At times, we didn't have an identity. I think we put a lot on Carson Wentz. I mean, our running backs was hurt, so we couldn't really run the ball. We had a lot of undersized guys, but I think that Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders are going to be very, very good. Very, very good. And you can't even say anything about Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, and Zach Ertz's ability. Those guys have proven that they're really, really good. And you got Dallas Goedert now. So now this is, they got a lot to do. They got a lot to do, man. They got a lot to do. I would hate for it to come down to us not calling good plays. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Which identity should we run with? Should we be a passing team? Should we be a running team? Or should we fight to find balance, which is really hard to do in the NFL?